Hey Jamie, hey Ken.
Hello, Sam.
Thank you so
Hey,
much
man.
for joining us on this podcast. Just for a couple minutes, we are slobberingly grateful for anyone who want to chop it up with us and just give us a little bit of your time. But before we start any podcast, we do something. I don't know if we warn you or if she warned you. We call it the over the
No,
top intro. I get a chance to butter your bread, start this thing off right before we jump to this podcast. Can I do that for you? Can I talk good about you
Yeah,
and a great
go ahead.
announcement
sure,
before we get this going?
Go ahead.
sure.
Well, my first guest is a director who hails from the Great White North. You may know him from his works in The De-Influencer, What Lurks Beneath, and The Mousetrap. And right next to him on this Zoom screen is a pharmacist, an actor, a producer, an extraordinary. You may know him from Nights Before Christmas, Blood and Snow, The United Nations of Horror, and today we are formed like Voltron to talk about the new project, the Omro Heist. This film will be released soon in North America on demand and digital released all over on July 29th, all across all platforms. Jamie Bailey, Ken Bressers, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thanks for
Hey,
having
thank you,
us.
Sam.
That was exciting.
It was very exciting. Thank you.
Well, guys, I thank you so much because I got a chance to watch this film, and this was great. This is the old school. Maybe I'm showing my age a little bit. The old school heist films that we all know and love, where there is a plot and a subplot and a plot under that, and it was very layered, and I love how it laid out. I'm curious, how did the idea of this film comes out? How do you guys come up with this idea?
This
Kenny,
one
what?
was kind of reverse engineered. Okay, I bought a bank building to put a long-term care pharmacy in it. And I'm looking at this thing and it had this beautiful safe, walk-in safe with safety deposit boxes and things. And I called Simon up, and my partner and Jamie's partner, um, and I said, "You got to come down here and see this." So he drove down from Canada, spent a couple days here, went back up to Canada, called Jamie, and they worked out a wonderful script, and we went for it. So I just delayed the opening of the pharmacy by a couple months, and we did our
Shoot.
pre-work, and the shoot went wonderful because it's a small city, and we had the cooperation of everyone from the real mayor all the way down through the police department and the fire department, and everybody, and it was wonderful. So that's kind
This
of how it happened.
this movie is like the little engine that could, I guess. Ken had this lovely bank, and Simon went down and checked out what we had to work with. And many of our movies are shot in mainly one location. We shot a submarine movie. We shot other movies that basically are pretty much contained in a jail or whatever.
Right.
Uh, and so we Simon wrote the script, and we kind of just together on set, kind of we changed things or whatever. But this was Simon's baby. The main story is 100%. He wrote it, and he's in it, and he's great.
All right, speaking of Simon, that's my man. He's been a part of this podcast. I don't know if you know this. Like, he's been on this podcast so many times. Next time he's on the podcast, we're giving him keys. He got to sweep up after he leaves. I mean, like he,
He is
he
a media whore. He's a media whore.
no, like he's almost an employee here. I mean, like, but one of the cool things about Simon is the writing of this film, and he's quickly becoming one of my favorite bad guys in all the in all the stuff he's in. Because when I see him, I do this. Oh, that's my buddy Simon. Oh shit, because like he's like so the bad guy,
Yeah,
and I feel
he's.
weird talking about him without him here to defend himself.
Oh, he'd be
But
very
like,
happy. His ears are burning right now somewhere.
I
Exactly.
know it's one of those things where when you see him, you're like, oh, he's gonna do something so messed up. So as a director, Jamie, how was that for you? Because Simon did a lot of messed up stuff here without going into detail to give it out with this movie. How is
Uh,
it easy? What did you do? He just tapped him on the shoulder. Hey, do that thing you do.
Well, pretty much. I mean, Simon and I made 7 movies together, and he's written all those movies really. And he writes this character that he plays so well. It's not always the same in every movie, but he's basically the main bad guy in every one of our movies, and he's just really really great at it. And not only in our films too, but I mean, like he was in Fubar the first season.
Yep.
The very first person that Arnold Schwarzenegger kills is Simon, who plays a Russian diamond smuggler. He's also been in a Bruce Willis movie, his second last movie, where Bruce Willis and him get into a tuffle, and Bruce Willis kills him at the end of it. But yeah, like not only in our little independent movies, Simon's gone on to do like the A level, Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger type stuff.
But
So yeah, he's great to work with. We have a great shorthand.
yeah, he's becoming
Yeah.
that guy where and I love it. And I'm trying to explain this to my son because when you see him, I'm like, oh, yeah, there he goes. Watch this. Because I know something is going to happen. So when you get an actor like that, where it's kind of written where I don't, the way we put it while watching this film, the Omro Heist, is he has bad guy face. And when you have bad guy face, it just automatically shows up. And I just imagine your life would be a lot easier. But one of the
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
no, that was it. I would just imagine your life would be easier as directing this thing.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, working with great actors is really what it's all about. Like they say that 90% of directing is casting, right? And Simon's one of those. Ken also too plays the mayor. I have to say this. Like I enjoy thoroughly working with actors that they just get it. They know their lines, but they also know how to bring their character to life. Simon is incredibly good at small nuances of acting. He's been acting for over 20 years, and he understands like on both sides of it. He understands what he has to do as an actor, but he also understands what I need to get. So he will move and act in a certain way that is perfect for camera. And he's like just like he's the master. It really blows. Like so, for instance, like you'll shoot a scene, right? And when you shoot a scene single camera, you got to shoot it from a million different angles. And in that, an inexperienced actor will do different things with their hands. They might stand or sit at different times, and that footage can't link up together, right? In the edit.
Right.
But he will like have a monologue and do this at a certain part of the monologue when he says a certain line or whatever, and he'll do that like from the first take to right down to the last take at the exact same moment. So I always have that moment to cut to, and he's a real pro. Like he really is a pro.
Well, Jamie, you was part of the writing process about this with Simon, and one of the greatest things about this movie is all the side stories I talked about. And it seemed like every character was there for a very specific reason. Even you, Ken, like you play the corrupt mayor, and it looks like one thing, but it's going another way. Every actor looked like something. Maybe it was true, maybe it wasn't, maybe, but it almost seemed like the bank robbery itself was just in the background. It just so happened to happen at a bank robbery. What
Sure.
was that like to shoot those other, I don't want to call them B stories because they were almost just as equal. And like the father, let me put it like this. The father-son dynamic goes through this film, and that's almost as important as the bank robbery itself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like the
Well,
real story arc is that story arc. The father son thing is gives it heart. Like all the other stories, got to fill it in. This is a low budget movie. It's character driven, and we don't have all the money to do giant explosions and nothing but action. So you have to have at the end of the day, people sitting around talking for a lot of the movie, and you have to have those stories that people connect to. The father son one is a good example.
Another
yeah,
example, Ken.
you also
Yeah,
have the
go
love.
ahead. Yeah, elaborate.
You also have to have the love story. The love story is part of it as well. And the coming home story and the widowed father story. I mean, they're all kind of in there, and they're not just thrown away as something side. They make something out of it, even if it's 5 lines, 10 lines. You see a police officer who's lost his wife, his son left the home. There's some bitterness, there's some animosity. The son left the girl that he was supposed to marry. He got a little bit of he got a lot of a conflict there, and this is all happening. In some movies, they would just throw that away. It would be like, yeah, okay, it happened, yeah, but we actually explore it enough to make it something, you know.
And also
Um,
too, like even a smaller character, like one of my favorite things we're talking about in a previous interview is one of the goons who likes his chapstick and he has the home and gardening magazine and he's watching.
exactly.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like so that's just a dumb B character, right? But like we invented that on the day that we just made him into a quirky weird guy rather than just him being the muscle. He had his weird likes, quirky likes, which we think all that all together with all those interesting people makes an interesting story.
Yeah.
Like one thing I loved about that is even in the father son stuff, it was like that hint of jealousy because the son left and essentially made a better life
Yeah.
for
And now he's telling
himself.
dad. Now he's telling dad what to do and how to do his job, and his dad
Exactly.
feels insecure.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, and so it does. And you know, as a character, you know, like I had to be the little bit flamboyant, really nice guy when I was in public because I needed the votes and I needed the people to love me. And then there was the me that's in the office and me that's doing the stuff I'm doing. And you know, it's fun to work through those layers. And and remember who you are at that point in time. You know, if I'm like if I'm out in public, I'm a whole different guy.
Right.
Okay, it kind of reminds us perhaps of some of the politicians we see today.
Ken,
Not
I want you to know this. This is not a question. You are my favorite two-faced mayor that I've seen this year. I mean,
There you
like,
go.
because I bought both sides of it. With you, Ken, like, I got the whole, glad handing, I'm in public, this is that, yada yada display, nothing to see here, business as usual type of thing. And then we get behind closed doors, it was like, yeah. Like you start nodding your head, like, yeah, I knew this guy was too good to be true.
That's a sign of a good actor, right? When they can play, they're playing a character within a character. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
when you know someone's got some chops, and Kenny pulled it off.
I gotta
yeah,
ask for both of
go
you,
ahead.
what was the most challenging part about making this movie? Because the chemistry just seemed awesome with everyone, but what were the headaches? I always have to ask, what are the headaches?
You know, I really, to be completely honest, I made 7 movies, and yes, I've definitely had issues that pop up in various different things. But on this, I'm telling you, it was the smoothest shoot I think I've ever had. We shot everything in a week, right? 8 days of production, and the biggest thing that happened was there was 2 safes in the location, and Simon wanted to go check out the second safe to figure out how we could use it in the movie. And when he took me into the safe, he closed the door, but he didn't realize that it would lock.
Mm.
We were stuck in the safe. We didn't know how we were going to get out. We had like a huge page count to shoot that day, and it was first thing in the morning. And we had
Yeah.
was it Kara came out with a giant box of like all the keys for the bank, and there was like it was like a 25
Yeah,
pound
when
box
I
of
bought
keys.
when I bought the building, the bank gave me this box. I swore it weighed about 25 pounds, and it was nothing but loose keys. And they had to go through and find the key to get those guys
Oh
out of
my
there.
God.
We didn't even know if the key was in there to begin with.
Yeah, it was a little stressful going through each key, and it was like, oh, is this going to happen? And if it doesn't work, we don't have the key, what do we do? Because it's a safe, it's a bank safe. It's not like we're locked in a room with some door you
Yeah,
can knock down. But that was the
you
worst thing that
can't pick
happened,
the lock. So,
and we
Yeah,
ended
I
up
can
getting
see
out.
how that can be challenging. Yeah, I can totally see how that can be challenging.
I was, we did get out within an hour, but I was very close to eating Simon.
Oh, well, sometimes sacrifices have to be made,
What are you
man.
gonna do? Yeah,
exactly.
I missed my brunch, so
Like, you were part of the editing part, Jamie, and this movie was about a little over an hour and a half. But I'm curious, what was left on the cutting room floor for this? Because I'm sure there was something.
yeah, there was. I think it originally was an hour and 42 minutes. Ken, right?
Yeah.
There was the original first cut, and then we collectively everyone gave notes, and then we chopped it down probably by another I'd say 7 minutes or something like that. And then we and what we chopped out were, trimmed scenes down in certain cases. And we removed a couple of things, but not many. Not many entire scenes were cut, if any at all. I think it was a matter of just trimming things down.
Right.
And then we screened the movie in Milwaukee, right? It was
We
we played
screened
it.
it. The premiere was in Milwaukee, correct?
And then so we got feedback from that from like all the people that had seen it, and we did one last round of notes. We changed the name of the movie. It was originally called Omro. Now it's the Omro Heist, and we changed the things around, like the opening bit where you see what happens at the end with Simon and the other main character. Uh, that wasn't in the beginning at first, so
Okay.
we made
Yeah,
a couple.
that was a great idea because taking that last scene and moving it up front to show people where we were going to end up without giving away any of the plot, kind of set the tone for the movie. And when we opened cold and just opened, a sunny street in Omro and two girls coming to work, and you open up slow. This thing opened up hot, and then we got into the story, and we didn't give anything away. And all those notes we got from watching it on the big screen and actually getting some feedback from maybe 100, 140 people. And then we went back and we did it. And I'll tell you something, for independent filmmakers, they really should look at doing that. Take
Hmm.
your final product, put it on a big screen, let 50, 100 people come in. You get their reaction. You also get to see it and you come up with great ideas. And then you can go back in and just make your final adjustments. And in our case, we just made some small adjustments.
Yeah, it
But
was
my
nothing
goodness,
major.
big difference.
Yeah, it did make a big
Yeah.
difference. There's something about they say that like when you the mind, if you see the opening of something and you need to know what was the situation that brought that up, you'll watch the whole movie. There's a whole thing now too, like what Netflix series that even if a season isn't doing so well, people are enjoying it. There's a lot of people that have to watch to the end. Like they'll watch 10
Yeah, I'm
episodes,
guilty of that. I am so guilty of
right?
that.
Yeah, like how many shows, especially today, there's so much new stuff to watch that you're like halfway through something, you're like, why am I watching this? And yet you watch the whole thing.
Yep. I'm so guilty of that. I know, even after us talking about this, I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the world we live in.
So I gotta ask. You screened it in Milwaukee. The big day is coming up on the 29th. What is it that you want people to take away from this film?
What do you want, Ken?
Well,
Uh,
first of all, I want them to enjoy themselves, and I want them to think, I'm glad I watched it. But also, I think that a lot of as we pointed out, a lot of these B plots uh, are going to make people think a little bit about their own lives because the
Hmm.
situations are very relatable. And you don't know how many fathers and sons might watch it together or how many uh, guys are going to watch it and think about things in their life and say, did I do that right? Or, maybe help them a little bit. So there is that part of it that that I'm really glad we emphasized, instead of, like I say, instead of throwing it away with 3 lines, we took it 6, 8, 10 lines and made it something. And then we followed up and resolved it at the end. Same thing with the guy coming home, leaving the girl, pursuing his dream, but then coming back.
and saving the
And
day and getting the girl at the end.
yeah, and how
There
many
you
of
go.
us have done, how many of us are maybe doing it right now where we left and we think maybe I should go back, maybe, you know, uh, and so I don't know. I just kind of I like that. I really do, and that's why I just love this movie because we took our time and did those things right. And again,
Yeah.
that's a collaboration between Simon and Jamie, and then when when I'm in a good mood, they let me join in, and then
Nonsense. He's a major part of all this. I guess what I'm hoping for people to take away is I hope this will help promote more bank robberies.
What? Hold
That's
on.
really why I'm doing this. I think that there should be more bank robberies. So yeah.
Wow. Thanks, Jamie. You got a lot of
Listen,
people killed. All
yeah.
right.
No,
Yeah, you know,
at the end of the day, I just want people to enjoy it. I just want, we make popcorn movies. This won't change your life, but hopefully it'll entertain you for the 90 minutes that you watch it. And
Man.
maybe rob a bank. And maybe just one bank. You rob one bank in the
Okay.
course
All
of the
right.
movie.
All right. Please, that second part, proceed with caution. You don't necessarily have to. Because if you watch this movie, it don't end well. Just saying. It just, some people, and I don't mean
Okay.
necessarily the main characters. I mean, some of the, oh, okay. I got to talk about it. I promise I'm not ruining anything.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm going to thread this one lightly.
Yeah.
The first young lady with the note.
Yeah.
Come
you know
on,
what?
man.
Hey, that's,
And yes,
that- hey,
That's it. I cannot elaborate more without ruining it. That's all I gotta say is, come on.
I'll take full responsibility for that whole section of the movie. That was completely 100% Jamie Bailey. I drew the note.
Oh
When you
my
see it,
God.
that's my handiwork. That's my artwork right there. We had some debate about it. You know what's really interesting? We've done a million interviews and we've got a lot of feedback. And I have never heard anyone actually mention the note. You're
No,
the first
I
person to do
had
it.
to. Because it was like,
How did you feel in that moment?
you know, it was such a swerve. Because it's like this. The viewer, I'm wording this so I don't ruin this. I thought she was going to do something very noble.
Right?
Because the fact that Simon, yeah, I'm picking on Simon one more time, says,
Yeah.
do not show anyone this note
Yeah.
until you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And then it happens. And then you open the note and I'm like, oh, damn it.
And then he says, "Did you get the message?"
Exactly. And
Right?
I'm like, she would have just opened that note.
Well, what would she would have done if she opened the note? Like she still probably would have went out, but she'd be like, "What the hell? What's
But
this?"
it's one of those things where you wouldn't have, in a weird way, rooted for. Because there was like a beat where you just kind of like, all right, look, he's giving you a chance.
Yeah. And we
And
built it up.
then,
I mean, we built that whole scene with Simon sitting down. Like we built that whole thing up. That you no way you saw that coming, right? Like you did not see that she would
exactly,
get
that's
shot.
why I'm being very careful. I don't want.
I know I'd love to talk about it more, but it's
I put like
difficult.
this.
I call it the Die Hard inspired moment. Okay.
I rock with Die Hard. So yeah, I get it.
You know,
Oh yeah, I see the Die Hard in the background there.
There you
Nice
go.
choice.
But
So-
that whole thing, because there's this like beat in the movie where you're looking for the quote unquote inside man, someone to step up. And there are some that gets shown up later, but in that moment you're like, oh, well, here we go. And you give this to us on a platter.
Right. And thank you for noticing that, by the way.
Well, it fills me with joy that you brought that part up. So thank you.
Yes, it does.
So there you go.
That was a bit of a risk. That was, I have to admit. Like I'll say this now.
No, you nailed it.
Excellent, thank you. Because this is like in that moment, without people seeing it, it's like, will they react like this was a joke? This is funny. It's not supposed to be funny because it is funny, but it's also
funny
terrifying
in the wrongest way possible.
right? And that's what I was going for. That's a fine line. That's a very gray fine line.
There was a part of me like, why would they do that? And then like you totally pay it off.
It makes Simon's character.
I'll give him his credit. You and Simon totally pay it off because it's like, why would you do something like that? So
yeah, and it really, to me, that point was that it made him a total badass. Like unpredictable, right? You don't know what he's gonna do now, and he's in charge. In that moment, he's completely in charge, and he's the Joker. You don't know what he's going to do.
Not one word was said, and we changed everybody's perspective of what they're
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm
the,
proud of all three of us to talk about this without giving away what exactly happened.
Right.
it
So,
hurts me. I desperately want to say
I
it, but
really want to talk about it myself, but here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're up against it. I want to thank you guys for your time and just talking about the movie. The movie comes out July 29th on across all platforms. It's called The Omro Heist. I want anyone under the sound of my voice, if they could see me, if they could see us, to see it, check it out. Mainly because I really want to talk about this one scene with everyone else who sees
We
it.
can have we'll have a whole podcast just talking about that one scene.
I'm down with that.
All right,
Say
let's do
when
it.
and where. But Jamie, Ken, thank you so much. This has been a treat.
Sam,
And I just
Sam,
wish you just
you're
the
a
best in
wonderful
everything.
host, buddy. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And yeah, anytime you want us back on, just let us know.
Oh, you got it.
All
So
right, cheers.
thank
All
you
right.
guys. Have a great one.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Thanks.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.